How's it, people? Well, today we are going to be getting my moon off the table. Yeah. We're going to be doing the holes, the piloting holes through the wenge. And what I do is I put a supporting beam under it, and that's going to let me drill through the wenge with minimal slippage. Hopefully this is coming out right. But here we are on neck prep and stuff. So got a 1/4 inch hole, so I'm going to use a 1/4 inch bit, push down on the wood, and follow my hole all the way through. Okay, I am in the Purple Heart. Now, where we're left is with 4 holes on the inside that didn't split, and so little things like that. And then what I like to do is grab this fretboard. Here's kind of what it looks like. For those of you, this is what a piece of wenge looks like, you know. So now I will put the neck pocket in. But I take a 1/4 inch bit that has a little tip on it, a fine point on it. And what I do is I like to slide it in the hole, just tap on the neck, pull it out. And what it's gonna do is it's gonna give me a little marker to put on the drill press. And I block this path, so I'm going to remove this and clamp it, holding pressure on the neck. So what that's gonna leave me with is these 4 tiny little dots. And that's how I'm going to line up it on the drill press and make it a little bit more pronounced. Like this, just put it in the hole. Just make it a little bit bigger. A little more pronounced now. And that is my lineup with the neck. Ta-da. Okay. So what we're doing now is we're going to be drilling out the 4 holes to carry these brass inserts, and they're thick. I was using the thinner ones before, but I had a lot of issues with it snapping and breaking. But this is super heavy duty. And what you want to do is get your calipers, and you want to measure inside of the grooves, which comes out to 0.38. And I got a bit that's going to drill it 0.39. And then we're going to get a tap and die kit, something like this. This is usually used in automotive and stuff. It works for me here. And I basically get this, and I thread through the wood so I can screw this in and put a little thin CA glue after it goes all the way in to lock it in place. Super heavy duty. It's a machine head screw. It's not a wood screw pulling and binding on the wood. It's a solid, fine threaded machine screw that pulls the neck to the body for better sustain, I think. A little block. Line it up. Test it first. I go all the way through the neck. Carbon fiber rod. There you go. I did a test hole to make sure I had the right bit to put the insert in. And then I got my tap and I tapped it in with this tool. And now, after it's done, I can kind of get this in like this by hand. And then I put CA glue all around the side to lock it in. And this is what the neck heel has 4 of these solid copper pieces, which is going to be bind together with stainless steel screws. As level as you can. As it goes in, it's going to straighten itself out. I'm going to cut the threads. Back it off. Bring out the rubbish. Go back down again. Back it off. Bring out the rubbish. Back it out. Back in again. Coming through. It's coming out the other end. You gotta be careful with the carbon fiber dust because it's very itchy. Okay. And this goes in there. I'm gonna grab me a screwdriver and some glue. It's a really thin super glue. What you do is make it flush. Like so. Then I get the CA glue and I run it around the outsides of the thread. And this is going to get sucked and pulled into the wood. It evaporates into the seams and then it doesn't come back out. So with the extra goop inside, I can just get a towel and just wipe it smooth. And I do this 3 more times. And we got a solid neck joint. I can also take some of the glue and put it on the inside and try not to get it in the threads. There we go. So now the next step, so we got our four copper inserts nicely in, secure. Got our carbon fiber rods, and now what we're gonna do is the headstock inlay. And again, I want to keep it all the same kind of wood, so I'm gonna go with the wingate for the headstock cover. And we're gonna go take this and run it in our drum sander and get it down nice and smooth and level. There we go. And I usually plane one side and it's completely flat, and I flip it over and then repeat the process. I want it as smooth and level as possible, so there's still some blade marks in there. Take it down really slow. You don't want to rush this process. You also can split the wood up too fast. So a little at a time until the whole top is level. Down to about 2 millimeters. Get back over it one more time. That's great. This really darkens up some of the finish. Then we got our wingate piece cut out, long enough, thick enough. We got it planed down, looks beautiful. Got the grain lined up nice. What I do is I put my fretboard as kind of like a guide to stop. So I know that I'm gonna glue it up to here, and then I can clamp down this piece properly. And once it starts setting, I'll take off the fretboard, but it's a good, gives you a nice straight line as well. Okay. So let's go, let's get that glue out. We already roughed up the surface, and I roughed up this one with a 220 grit. And now we can start getting the glue. You don't need a lot of glue. And I just put a lot of glue. I thought it was an 8 string, so I just kind of slowly massage it in. Get it up to the top. Avoid trying to get holes. Take it up to the edge now. Yeah, move and glue and stuff. Make sure you cover everything. Make sure you can kind of see it on the edge. So you want it to kind of bite as well. Sometimes it's gonna absorb it on the corner. Just kind of rub it in, kind of get it even. I'm gonna let it kind of play around for a little bit. All right, and the extras, you know, I can just a little bit in the center, rub it up there. And what I got is, I got my Trident 8-string template that I'm gonna be using the clamp over, and then I'm gonna use 2 clamps to mainly hold it in position, and then clamp all the edges, you know, and just double checking that you guys can see. What I wanna do now is kind of get it on here, and I wanna kind of do little circles, kind of creating a vacuum with the mating the pieces together. I'm gonna slide it up to my fretboard as such, double checking that my tip doesn't protrude out. Everything looks good. I'm gonna put my clamp, my first clamp. I'm gonna kind of offset it. Make sure that, so when you're clamping, you also gotta watch out that when I pinch down, it's going to try and slide the wenge out of its position. So I'm gonna kind of hold the wenge in place with this. So the first clamping is kind of like to keep it from wiggling. And then I will do another clamp right towards the end. Find where my real tip is, and I want to catch the tip. Okay. So now double check your wenge piece. And I'm going to now, what I should have done was traced it, but we'll see how good I can get this clamping on. And again, my 8-string template is already wider than the fretboard itself, not the fretboard, but for the headstock itself. So it's actually covering over the amount I needed to. And you don't need a lot of force here. You know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set these up as best as I can. And then I'm gonna relocate the 2 bigger clamps to go for the center. It's gonna get neck heavy, or headstock heavy. I used to have a bunch of clamps. Now, since this area is too deep to get in, since I already have it in place, I'm gonna relocate this guy. Start clamping up here. These clamps as best as I can. Again, you can see right about there, I'm done. Now I can take this big clamp, come from this angle, and I can kind of get some pressure in the center, right about there. I'll take off this clamp. I'll try and get a little bit more love here. I'm already on there, so it's just smashing down the template mainly. And then I'll go back to my end. Nice and tight. Clamp over clamp. Okay. Change this angle. There. We should be really good. I can take it off, and I can see the glue is protruding all over all the edges, which is great. And now that that is clamped, I can remove my fretboard from any possible glue seepage on the headstock side and make it lovely. And I'm gonna let this sit for an hour or a couple of hours. I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna trim off everything. I'm gonna put it in the sander, I'm gonna sand it up to the edges, and then we'll be ready for truss rod and fretboard. Sorry about my my video camera keeps falling, but after I got this pretty much set, I unstrapped the fretboard, so cleaned up the glue areas here. And here's kind of what it looks like. Like I said, I can look underneath and you can see that glue is all the way towards the edge and it's not an obscene amount of glue dripping out. So we did good on that. I'm just gonna let this sit again for about, an hour, hour and a half and come back out. Well, we are about 2 hours, 2.5 hours of letting the glue set and form. 30 minutes is actually all you really need, but it's good to leave it on more, than normal. Trying to do this again with one hand. Let's see how it came out. Flat, and there it is. Outside edges, scrape off that glue before it sets. It came out great. That's it. Awesome. Now, cut off the extras, shave it down. Splitters. And then I'm gonna clean it up with saw. I'm just trying to get off the bulk of the material. This is a Japanese saw, cuts on the pull stroke, and I'm just going slow. This is the Japanese saw or a router. The router's good only up to the flat points, and then the rest I'll take down, but it also cleans up really nice. It'll set your gauge and your bearing properly, and just go slow. Let that move. Move. The dog's crazy. That. You get a little cleaner profile cut, and then the rest you take to the sander. There it is. And my dog is crazy. Moon, what you doing, Moon? What you doing? See, just cleans up that edge nice. Doesn't it clean it up nice, Moon? Does it clean it up nice, Moon? Yeah? Yeah. Kind of basic shape, and I will clean this up with a file. I gotta change my sandpaper. Don't do what I do. I should have changed that sandpaper 2 guitars ago, but I'm using it because I'm just taking off excess. It's not like I'm trying to go for any kind of a precision sanding, you know. A lot of that I do by hand anyway. But you know, you get the idea, right? Headstock. All you see is this little shiny part, and what happened was with the router kicked up a little piece and it shot it out. So I found that piece and I put it back on, but that all goes away. You hit it with a little 220 circular sander, and now that area that cracked off is barely visible, and you won't see that on the finish. So to touch up these curves over here, you can see from the back it's still protruding out, because I like to go against the top and not come from the back and tear out. I like to try and get it from the top, and I'll be using a round, smooth, very tight, round, jagged, and a dragon file. This thing's amazing. It's amazing. It's a round and a flat. Go. Sit down that side. Tight. And with these tools too, there's some machine marks I can go in there and smooth all that down as well, you know, while I'm here. But I'm gonna hit that another time. Oh, I'll touch it up a little now. Stay away from your nut area. So there's a little slight gap on that. And there's a smoother one. Fine round. Touch up this tip. Over here. Okay. Give you guys a peek see. Now we got it nice and tight. Nice and flush. Some on the other side. Nice and tight. And we'll touch up all the other parts now. Get this top nice and tight. Get off the glue, scrape it. So let's try and hit this top now. Some of my favorite parts on the build is taking a sneak peek of what this is going to turn into. Is like, you're going to just wiping it down with some mineral spirits so the wood doesn't rise or the grain doesn't rise up. But you're going to see how dark this thing comes. Wicked. This is a really good tool, very handy tool. And what I do with this is I just come in there and I start from the flat. Oh, a little bit tighter. Don't want to crack the wood, so I'm just going to scrape. Then I'm cleaning off the winging to the maple. And this is like, so removing that glue, getting it nice and tight. This I got to take down with a file or the sander. These are a little different grades, but I'll catch this a little bit. We'll flip it. Flip it over. And then we're going to do the top side. Oh. Again, I'm trying to, I don't want to go too tight because there's no truss rod in there yet. Sometimes if you bend it, you get a better bite. There's sharp woods on this corner, so I will hit that with a sander. I'm trying to get the glue and get the wenge level with the maple. So now, when you look at your lines on the side, it's straight across, no glue joints, nice and clean all the way around. Just gotta fix this tip and be golden. 150 grit, and I touch up the edges. Over here, I'm going to use rod for grit sandpaper, get off the burn mark. Rounded the edges. Touched up the inside corners a little bit. The rest I go by hand. But, that's all like I was saying. I can start cutting it off here. Start going angles. Or I could take my file like I normally do, and I just go back and forth. It has a blunt end, so I can run it in the truss rod channel, and it gives me a perfect layout. Kind of got that this little thing coming, right? And it's getting like paper already over here. What I'm trying to do is ride the blunt end on the inside of the truss rod channel to get my straight outer edge. And then I want to run it on the inside of the other one to get that outer edge started. And then I blend it towards the center. Start taking it down until I can see that maple line. Start seeing the maple. Now I got to my inside of that truss rod cavity pretty good. And now it's kind of per taste. How much do I want of the maple showing? And kind of create an outer ring for it. And keep going. So I like that. What's happening is I'm not gonna get the maple to show through on both sides because the wing string is there. So now I'm gonna touch up my ends. The right angle. You can look nice at the center. Blend, blend, and blend. And that's how you get this. So what I do is I grab I got 220 grit paper. I roll it up. Hold it, and now I come back in here and I start sanding. And that is beautiful. Nice truss rod entryway. But I can't get maple all the way through because the wing string is right there. So I might leave that white, or I might just stain that black. Here you go. Just a simple reminder too, I got the heel clamp down, and while I was putting pressure on this headstock, I'm not sure if you guys saw, but I have a rubber eraser, a soft eraser under here. So when I push down, I don't dent the back of the wood. You know, all these little things you gotta kind of think about to not, you know, if I dent the back of this neck, I'm gonna have to keep sanding it down till it's smooth, and then I could lose possibly the integrity behind the truss rod because my necks are super thin as it is. Just I wanted to point that out.